Hey, how's it going, everybody out there? This is RBT coming at you with my Week 4 NFL recap video. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get to watch a lot of football today because I was on my way home from Tuscaloosa from the Alabama game, so I didn't get to watch a lot, but I'll try my best here. And the only game on right now is the Eagles and Giants, and the Eagles just took a 13-10 lead. So starting off with the Panthers and Falcons. Falcons with a late rally came back to beat the Panthers. 30-28, Cam Newton led a touchdown drive, and then Falcons come right back and kick a field goal to take the lead and win the game. And Matt Ryan had a huge game. I know in my fantasy league, one guy had him and Roddy White, and he got over like 150 points, and that was ridiculous. But he went over. He had 3 TDs, going over 360 yards passing. And Roddy White had 160 yards through the air and 2 touchdowns receiving. So big game by the Falcons, and it was a big win and a big comeback. And they are unscathed in the season and improved to 4-0. Patriots, after a scare in the first half, they were down 14-7 at half, come back and beat the Bills. They had a huge fourth quarter, scored 31 points, ended up winning 52-28. Tom Brady had a pretty big game, 22 of 36, 340 yards, and 3 TDs. Brandon Bolden and Stephon Redley both went off. They had over 250 yards combined rushing, and that's not normal from your Patriots teams, is to have a decent run game. And Danny Woodhead had a decent game too. I think Stephon Ridley had 120 yards, Brandon Bolden about 137, and Wes Welker had 120 yards through the air. So big game by the Patriots. Their offense actually came alive this game and won 52-28. Ryan Fitzpatrick, by the way, didn't have a bad game. Threw for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns. So sure, if you had him on your fantasy team, you weren't too disappointed. Vikings go on to surprise the Lions and win 20-13. They improved to 3-1, which nobody saw coming into the season. I thought they were going to be probably the worst team in football this year, and they definitely proved me wrong. I'm getting more and more nervous about their next week game against the Titans. I'm kind of scared the Titans might lose this game, but 2013, Christian Ponder didn't turn the ball over. Adrian Peterson had over 100 yards, and the Vikings defense came up big. Allowed no rushing touchdowns, allowed no passing touchdowns, I think. Yeah. So even though the Lions had over 100 yards, more than the Vikings, defenses and turnovers is what wins you the game, and the Vikings win 20-13. I don't know what else to say. Sorry about that. Chargers beat the Chiefs 37-30. Phillip Rivers, 2 TDs, 209 yards through the air. Ron Matthews had 60 yards. And the Chargers forced six turnovers in this game, and that's what won them the game, definitely. Nothing more else to say. 6 turnovers. If you turn the ball over 6 times, you're not gonna look at I'm surprised it was even this close. If you turn the ball over 6 times, you're looking at a pretty sad game. Seahawks lose to the Rams 13-19. The Seahawks magic ran out in this game. The Rams defense played pretty well. Held the Seahawks to 300 yards of offense. The Seahawks had 3 turnovers, and that's really why. Just like the Chargers game, that's why the Seahawks didn't win this game, and the Rams won. Defense is what wins. The Rams controlled the ball and got the victory, 19-13. Moving on. 49ers absolutely blow out the Jets, 34-0. The score pretty much says what happened. Jets had 4 turnovers to the 49ers none. The Giants didn't even need to have great offense in this game to win. I mean, Alex Smith only had 140 yards rushing. Frank Gore only had 62 yards on the ground. But I mean, that's when you force 4 turnovers and your offense can't do anything, you're not going to win the game. The Jets only had 140 yards of offense. Maybe they need to start Tim Tebow at quarterback. Heck, they might even need to start Greg McElroy at quarterback. Because that's just embarrassing for the Jets to lose that bad. So 34-0, big win for the 49ers. Titans, oh god, lost to the Texans 38-14. Chris Johnson did have a breakout game. Had 25 carries under 41 yards. It's like more yards than he had all year times like 15. But Jay Clocker was hurt in this game. Not a good sign for Titans fans. The game was a lot closer than the score really was because 2 pick sixes by Matt Hasselbeck. Thrown by Matt Hasselbeck really is what sealed the deal. I'm not a fan of Matt Hasselbeck. I thought this game would have been a lot closer if Jake Locker wouldn't have got hurt. But either way, Texans won 38-14. That's all that matters. Moving on. Broncos absolutely destroyed the Raiders 37-6. Peyton Manning had a big game, 338 yards, 3 TDs. Willis McGahee goes up for 100 yards, and the Broncos had 507 yards to the Raiders 230. So nothing much other than that particular statistical category. I can never say statistical. Like, I always stutter when I say it. That's one of the few words I can never say, and it's annoying. So sorry about that. Cardinals improved to 4-0. Wow, that's definitely not seen by anybody. But after the teams that they beat so far, not surprising that they beat the Dolphins. They had to go into overtime to do it, and had to have a fourth quarter rally. On 4th down, Kevin Cobb had to execute to score the TD. If they didn't make that touchdown, the game was over, and they not like the Kevin Cobb of old. Last year's Kevin Cobb wouldn't have made that play, but this year's Kevin Cobb does, and they ended up winning 24-21 off a field goal. Dolphins had 4 turnovers, just like in the other games I talked about already. When you make more than 3 or 4 turnovers, you're gonna lose the game more than likely. So those 4 turnovers absolutely killed the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins had 480 yards, and the Cardinals had 290. But the 4 turnovers is what killed them. So either way, the Cardinals are finding ways to win this game in overtime, 24-21. Bengals beat the Jags 27-10. I think this isn't surprising anybody. Andy Dalton had 20 completions out of 31 attempts, 244 yards, 2 TDs. Both teams had 2 turnovers. But as you know, the Jacksonville Jaguar offense is not great by any means. It's actually probably, if not the worst, one of the worst offenses in the NFL. So scoring 10 points a game doesn't really surprise me. The Jaguars want to win games. You're going to have to play great defense and not give over 20 points a game, because the Jaguars are rarely going to score over 24 points a game. So win by the Bengals, and they keep rolling to 3-1. They couldn't get anything going on offense. I mean, as their passing game as bad as it is, you can't be having your best player, Maurice Jones-Drew, only get 38 yards on the ground. So it is what it is. Packers avoid a second half rally by the Saints and win by 1 point, 28-27. Saints they made a field goal at the very end, and then they got a penalty on them, and then they missed the second field goal try. So the Packers avoid a comeback. Saints almost got the first win of the year. I mean, kudos to them for coming back and playing strong in the second half, but a loss is a loss. 0-4 is 0-4. Drew Brees did have a pretty good game, 446 yards, 3 TDs, to Aaron Rodgers, 319 yards, 4 TDs. The Packers had 2 turnovers, so that's kind of odd seeing them have more turnovers and win the game. But the difference in this game was definitely the running game. The Saints had no running game at all. Their running game is probably one of the worst in the NFL, definitely. They only had 20 yards on the ground. Cedric Benson had 84 yards on the ground. So it is what it is. Saints lose. They're 0-4 now. Packers are 2-2, and it's kind of, if you're a I'm kind of feel glad that the Packers won this game, definitely because they got robbed of the last game. And believe, even if you dislike the Packers or hate the Packers, you kind of wanted them to win this game to make up for last game. So kind of good the Packers won this game. And it's this, I think this last game, Redskins 24, Buccaneers 22. Just like the game before this, the Redskins had to avoid a second half rally by Josh Freeman and the Buccaneers. Josh Freeman played really well in the second half. He ended up 24-39, 299 yards, 1 TD. Robert Griffin is continuing to press everybody in the NFL. All the doubters aren't there anymore. He was 26-35, 323 yards. His long run towards the end of the game set up a game-winning field goal by the Cundiff. I forget his first name. His last second field goal to win the game. He had missed 3 field goals previously, so it's kind of a relief to Redskin faithful that he made that last field goal. So 24-22. Robert Griffin, like I said, continues to press everybody, and he's definitely the best rookies by far. So Redskins improved to 2-2. The Buccaneers fall to 1-3, and the Redskins won 24-22. Last game. Oh, the Ravens and Browns game, 23-16. Didn't get to watch this game, so I don't really know what happened. But just looking at the stats, Brandon Weeden, 25-52, 320 yards, no touchdowns. Trent Richardson didn't get anything going on the ground, 14 carries, 47 yards, but he did have a TD. Browns had two turnovers. That was probably both picks by Brandon Weeden. Joe Flacco had a big game. I do remember seeing this. Joe Flacco was 28 of 46, 356 yards, 1 touchdown. And the reason I do remember that now is because I have Anquan Bolden on my fantasy team. He had 9 receptions, 131 yards, and he had done nothing at all this year so far, and he's been killing my fantasy team, along with Aaron Rodgers and Wes Welker. But I refreshed my page of my fantasy team, checking my score, and it went from like 0.2 points to like 13. I was like, what the? And it was Anquan Bolden. So kudos to Anquan Bolden, and thank you very much for having a big game. And congrats to the Ravens on improving to 3-1. The Browns fall to 0-4, which is pretty sad for the Browns. So there's like I said, the Eagles and Giants are still going on these recaps. I can't really stay up late enough to do the recaps of the very last game because I'm too tired. So that'll be what it is, because I just can't help that. It is 13-10, 11 minutes left. Eagles got the ball, so Eagles look to be in control, but you don't know what can happen. And tomorrow night, you got the Bears and the Cowboys. So I'll see you guys later. This has been my week 4 recap video for the NFL season. And as always, roll tide, go Sox, and go Titans. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already.